We do love questions. And in today's video, we're going to answer one of those questions that's been asked a lot. And that is, how do I bump the temperatures up in my offset? Say from 225 to 250, to 250 to 275, or even 275 to 300. Jordan's getting the smoker ready, and I'm going to go up there, and we're not going to hold anything back. We're going to show you exactly how to do that. So let's go.
All right, so our first move is to get the fire style to get us from 225 to 250. Let's do that. And you've got your coals in there, pretty good coal bed.
Yep. Getting a little oxygen to them.
Now you've fluffed them up a little bit. Now we're just gonna put the splits on and let them do the magic. Well, we've got the wood ignited, and it really only took just a few seconds. That means we have a good coal bed. But I did notice you've got the wood kind of the way you did in the fire management video, where you've kind of pointed it towards the back of the smoker, and you've got it to where it's slowing the airflow down.
A little bit slower.
You're still confident we can get 25 degrees out of it.
Yeah.
So the key is to establish a really good coal bed. It's going to be one of those things that you're going to hear over and over and over again, to where you finally like, I'm not watching the guy's videos because he just won't get off the coal bed. That's right. That's a very important part of having a successful fire. You're going to get a reignite of your new splits, which we just did.
Yep.
And this style is going to give us the bump up that we need. So we're bumping 25 degrees with those 3 splits. Let's go look at the thermometers and watch it work. So Jordan, it only took about 2 to 3 minutes. The honest truth, we've got a camera on the thermometer. It really went up surprisingly fast.
It does.
And now that you get it to 250, it's keeping it from climbing over 250. Show us your little technique here.
The backyard pits need a little bit more airflow than the big guys. So
to get to that bump.
I had my bow tie open all the way, and then I started watching it climb pretty fast. And then I come over here and started bumping it down. So usually it'll go up a little bit above your target temp, and then you can use the bow tie and kind of tap it down until you get it to settle out at your target temp.
And Jordan's really made me a huge fan of this bow tie that I've really not used to the level that I'm using it now. I used to do it by the door. Now I've realized that the door is really the macro and the bow tie is the micro. So you can really kind of move the door or close it all the way and get real precise with the bow tie.
You can.
So one of the things that really, I believe, needs to be addressed for beginners or intermediates is this little bit nerve-wracking part of the cook when you've got your new splits on and now you see the temperature spike. Everybody wants to hold it within a couple degrees. I mean, that's something that I was pitching out about this pit and our primitives. They do run plus or minus 5 degrees.
They do.
But it's a lot of the cook technique, and that technique was shown right here, because as soon as you start to see the spike of temperatures, you go back and control it with the door, shutting it down with the bow tie to give it less air.
If your wood ignites, you should have a 5-minute window to where you're going to set everything, and it should stay there. But also in that 5 minutes, if it's not igniting, it's going to smolder and nothing's happening. That lets you know you need to manipulate the way the wood's put on the coals, or give it a little bit more airflow. There's quite a few things that could go right or wrong with it, but you have to stick with it for those 5 minutes or so.
So now let's go bump from 250 to 275. And really, it's a lot simpler than most people think, because we're not going to change the amount of splits, we hope. We're just going to put them at a different angle.
So what's different is we have built a better coal bed because we've been cooking at 250 for a couple hours. Our regeneration rate was a lot faster because we're cooking faster, and we've made a bigger bed of coals. We're gonna try to get it to 275 with 3 splits, just like we did at the
225
to 250 and so on. So now all I'm doing is I'm going from that perpendicular angle to more of a parallel angle.
Moving them counterclockwise back to where they're more parallel to the pit. That's going to allow more acceleration. Now what's going to be your indicator on your judgment to see that you've not got the energy you need?
The thermometer. No, I'm saying, like, if it's not climbing up to 275, that means I need more energy.
1 + 1 is 2. Let's go ahead and see if we can get it up to 275 with 3 splits. So we're going gently in there. Yep. Your base logs are closer together, and now you've got the 1 split. We'll shut her down and see if we can't get it once we get ignited.
So I've got the bow ties wide open right now. we're getting that acceleration. I'm trying to get to 275. And once I see it to start climbing at a really good rate, I'll start knocking it down so it doesn't go way too fast up to 275 or beyond. I'm gonna try to get it to start to go slow and then barely get above it or at it, and then kind of close it, and so it'll hit right on that target temp.
So Jordan, we don't have anything going on up here at the stack. We're wide open.
Wide open.
We've not tried to throttle it at all. We've just left it wide open and done all of our movements there, which really reduces the variables.
Yep, every time we cook, we have this stack wide open. We never adjust it. We have not been in cold enough temperature to use that thing.
And that's just kind of knowing that if you're not getting that 275, it's super cold outside, that's when you might want to reach up there and close it just a little bit, just to kind of build the back pressure.
We're doing all of our temperature control through this, the way we're orienting splits and using this bow tie.
So Jordan, we put the 3 splits on there. We turned them back more parallel to the firebox. We quite didn't hit our target. We hit about 260, 255.
Yep.
So now we're going to go in here and add a 4 split.
Add a 4 split.
And you've got them pretty close together. That's something you want to do, is you want to put these 2 splits right here pretty close together.
Get a little bit more acceleration out of it. So now I'm going to be way more mindful of this bow tie. It's going to start climbing pretty quick, and I've got it wide open. As soon as I know that that's catching real well is when I start tapping it down, because it's fixing to start lifting up. We just put the 4 split on, it lit, it's starting to accelerate. So what I'm gonna do is halfway in between being closed and where I had it, I'm gonna leave it there, and it will slow down the air intake and slow down the acceleration of my thermometer. Hopefully letting us hit 275 right off the bat.
So we've got our 225 to 250 accomplished, our 250 to 275.
Right.
Instead of adding more splits than the 4 splits that we put on, we originally put 3 on, then Jordan, we had to add a 4th one. How are we going to get from 275 bumping up to 300 with the same fire management?
So we are still running with the 4 splits that we went from 250 to 275. All we're gonna do is change the airflow. Without adding any more fuel to this, all I'm gonna do is tap this open about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch to let a little bit more airflow come in to get us to that 300. It's gonna be little minute hits on it, but we can get this pit to 300 with the same orientation of wood.
Well, Jordan, in summary, it's pretty easy to grasp. The technique you've shown as far as really adjusting everything from the firebox or with the splits inside.
My advice is just to practice, burn wood, and get used to using the bow tie and get used to using the door, and pay attention to the way your thermometer reacts to how much wood you have in there and the way you have it oriented.
Now, for the people who don't want to use the bow tie and would rather use the door, it's very similar. It doesn't have as much detail that this does, but opening the door 1/8 of an inch and then another 1/2 inch is going to do approximately the same thing.
I promise you, on these backyard units, they're so much smaller, they react better to this bow tie, and the commercial pits work way better with just using the door.
Right. Well, this has been super helpful for me. I've learned a lot of his techniques over the last few months, but that was a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well, and I'll see you in the next video.